Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. So we're calling your attention to the dangers of this monstrous National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform, which is Obama's chosen vehicle. Remember, he wanted to make this binding on the Congress. He didn't succeed. Al Simpson, Erskine Bowles, Max Baucus, Xavier Becerra, Tom Coburn, reactionary, popping off this week, Kent Conrad, corporate state Democrat, Senator Mike Crapo, Republican of Idaho, Durbin is on there, Ann Fudge, Young and Rubicam, Judd Gregg, Jeb Hensarling, two reactionaries in a row there, Alice Rivlin, Paul Ryan, arch-reactionary, butcher, wants to destroy, privatize Social Security, Jan Schakowsky, part of the Illinois Bipartisan Combine, John Spratt of South Carolina, Democratic budget expert, and Andrew Stern, the ex-leader of that scab union, Service Employees International Union, the strikebreakers union, the one that gets you down, takes you down, and so he gets the dues. Okay, so they're going to report in December. Watch out, because that's going to be a direct attack on the heritage of Franklin D. Roosevelt and the New Deal. And we stress again, Obama is not Franklin D. Roosevelt. He's the anti-FDR. He's not LBJ. He's the anti-LBJ, not JFK, the anti-Kennedy. Now, the background on this is fascinating. A new book called The Pact by Stephen M. Gillon, Gillon, and we can see this written up. You can get it immediately on Firedog Lake blog by Jane Hampshire. How Monica Lewinsky Saved Social Security, Gingrich, Clinton, Bowles, and the Pact. And the basic idea is that in Clinton's second term, in basically 1997, he was actively dealing with Newt the Toot Gingrich to privatize Social Security, to invest more of it into the Wall Street bubble economy. And this was going along, and his go-between was Erskine Bowles, who at that time had become the chief of staff of the Clinton White House. And these are all, this is basically the new Democrats, right? The Democratic Leadership Council, sellout, right-wing, pro-Wall Street Democrat thugs making deals with the reactionary Republicans of the Newt Gingrich stripe. And the idea is this was going to happen. This was going to be his heritage issue, right? Remember, Clinton had attacked the aid to mothers with dependent children part of the Social Security Act of 1935, the worst thing he actually managed to do, and he had been told, you don't need to hurt people to get reelected. And Clinton said, no, I'm going to hurt them because I want to get reelected. Now he was going to do something for his status in the Wall Street-controlled history books. What saved us was Monica Lewinsky. It was the scandal. Because the idea was that as soon as the Monica Lewinsky scandal had blown sky high at the beginning of 1998, it became impossible for Clinton to do the sellout. Because to do the sellout, he would have been relying on his Democratic Leadership Council, New Democrat sellout, pro-Wall Street types, and he was going to deal with them and then use Republican votes to carry the day. As soon as the Lewinsky scandal broke, the New Democrats ran for cover, man, like rabbits. They were so scared they wouldn't fight. But the New Deal-type Democrats, or the closest to it that we had, stood and fought and became the hardcore of Clinton's support. So as soon as this had happened, it became clear to Clinton he couldn't attack Social Security, because if he had attacked Social Security, he would have lost the one group of people that were interested in fighting against the reactionary Republican attack machine, and therefore Clinton was not able to sell out, betray the American people by privatizing Social Security, investing that into the Wall Street bubble economy, using it to pump up the eternal bubbles and the incipient derivatives economy. So thank God for Monica Lewinsky, whatever else she was. She helped us to save Social Security. So this is important background on the news. Now, what we see now is that, of course, Obama politically very weak. The effect of the Gulf oil spill Obama as feckless. He has no executive experience. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has no idea of running operations. It is, I guess, somewhat bitterly ironic that a lot of people in the Democratic Party don't seem to care that much about genocide in Iraq, don't seem to care about genocide in Afghanistan. They don't even seem to care of human beings, the blue-collar workers who got killed in this incident, but they care about the penguins and the shrimp and the ecosystems. All right, well, they're moving against Obama on those issues. You've also, therefore, Obama really running scared. He clashed with the Republicans at a private meeting this week. He's been described as thin-skinned and testy. That is Obama. Not getting admiration and adulation. He immediately gets to be angry and aggressive. He is, of course, in terms of his mentality, the typical Luo, his national profile, right? Superficial, intelligent, clever, but not a hard worker and lazy. That's Obama. And triumphalistic in terms of his egomania. So Obama realizes now that he's in trouble. In response to the clash with the Republicans, he sent 200 troops to the Mexican border. He's also attempting to placate the LGBT community by passing the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Where that goes is anybody's guess, but you can get the idea. This would be the time to pile on Obama. In other words, learn from the example of Clinton that we just went through. You're going to be much better off with Obama in a weakened position than you are with Obama triumphant, because when he's triumphant, he's going to sell you out to Wall Street. If you bash him and weaken him, then you get him into a position where he can't do those things. So at least you can neutralize him, and I think that's what we have to attempt to do. So that's the sort of the domestic political situation. Now, what we, of course, would need is powerful executive action on the oil spill. You'd need to commandeer, nationalize all sorts of assets. You can use the Defense Production Act and other emergency legislation. You can commandeer super tankers and get them to suck up the water with the oil in it and then separate that out later on in tanks on the shore. You can commandeer all sorts of assets. You could nationalize BP, right? Truman nationalized the steel mills at one point in the post-war era. He was doing this for the wrong reasons. But if you don't like what BP is doing, nationalize BP America with an emergency decree, executive order, and then run them under the Defense Production Act and make them do what you say. Put them in a kind of temporary receivership. Remember, this is the Anglo-American, the Anglo-Iranian oil company, right? This is the basis of BP is in Iran. It's the Abadan refinery, the Karg Island tanker terminal, and so forth. We've got this interesting thing that BP, front page story in the Washington Post this week, the entire green ecologist movement are a bunch of hypocrites, and they're corrupt, and they take money from BP. In particular, the Nature Conservancy, the largest and richest of all the green global warming organizations in the world, has long been in bed with BP, taking money, giving them cover, greenwashing the crimes of BP, and generally speaking, big oil has had a tremendous role. They're either giving money to or participating on boards with the Sierra Club, the Audubon Society. They have something called the American Wind and Wildlife Alliance, the Environmental Defense Fund, the Conservation International, all of them linked in various ways with the oil companies and BP. Sinks to high heaven. Back in a minute.